Survival became the only fight.
Sometimes, the most peaceful places can test you the most.
In Canada, chairlifts are one of the safest and most common ways to reach the top of snowy mountains. Every winter, thousands of people visit ski resorts to enjoy skiing, fresh air, and breathtaking views.
The day began like any other. Fresh snow covered the mountains and the air was calm and clear.
Wow, look at all this snow! Let's get our gear and hit the slopes.
Emma and Daniel had planned this trip for weeks. They came for adventure, for peace, and to experience skiing together for the first time.
Wow, Daniel, we're finally here!
I know, let's go.
It was a perfect winter morning, the kind of day people wait for all year.
Wow, look at all the snow! Go on, you two! Race you!
They laughed, played like children, throwing snow at each other without a care in the world. Gotcha. Oh yeah?
Haha, take that! This is so fun!
Daniel and Emma had come to experience the beauty of the mountains and the thrill of skiing through the pines.
Ready for the pines, Emma?
You bet, let's go!
Adventure awaits.
In the Canadian Rockies, where endless pine forests stretch across the mountains, chairlifts carry skiers high above the trees every day.
To reach the top of the mountain, they had to take the chairlift, just like everyone else. As the chairlift moved, their journey began. They were heading to the top, where the real skiing would start.
Each chair carried just 2 people, quietly moving above the endless pine forest toward the snowy slopes.
The wind began to move through the pines, slow at first, then stronger.
The wind started to change. It became sharper, colder, stronger.
The higher they went, the wind began to change. Emma felt it first. "This doesn't feel right," she said softly, but it was already too late. Far below, a warning signal appeared, a small sign hidden in the system. But no one realized that above the pines, lives were already at risk. Inside the control room, the system detected a problem. A warning light began to flash, signaling unusual tension in the cable. But the warning was ignored. The workers assumed it was just a minor system glitch, something that happens sometimes. They chose not to stop the system. Emma felt it first. "This feels strange," she said, as the chair moved slower than before. And then, without warning, the chairlift stopped.
Why did it stop?
It's okay. It'll start again. Minutes passed, but nothing happened.
The wind grew stronger and one chair began swinging dangerously.
The wind grew stronger, and one chair began swinging dangerously. A single mistake, and they would disappear into the pines forever. They weren't just trapped. They were alone, above a forest that never ends. Night fell, and the forest below turned into darkness. They weren't thinking about skiing anymore. They were just trying to survive the night. As night fell, the rescue team knew they couldn't wait until morning. Lives were at risk, and every minute in the freezing cold made survival harder. The helicopter tried to lift off, but the weather had turned against them. Strong winds, heavy snowfall, and almost zero visibility made flying too dangerous. The pilot made the call. "We can't fly in this." The risk was too high, even for the rescuers. The mission was postponed, and that meant one thing. People on those chairs would have to survive the entire night, alone, in the freezing darkness. As the night passed, rescue teams began preparing for a dangerous mission. They knew the conditions were extreme, and every second mattered. Ropes were checked.
As the storm passed, morning brought a second chance. The sky began to clear, and hope returned with the rising sun.
After hours of searching, they found Emma and Daniel, still holding on, barely conscious, but alive. The rescuer was lowered down, aiming straight for the person closest to him, Emma. He reached Emma first, steadying the chair so it wouldn't swing. Slowly, Emma was lifted away, rising toward the helicopter. Within moments, she was safe, but Daniel was still below, waiting. After Emma was taken, Daniel was left alone, sitting on the same chair, now half empty. For the first time, he felt the silence completely. No words, no comfort, just the cold and the weight. The helicopter returned, this time just for him. The rescuer moved carefully, knowing one mistake could send him falling into the forest below. He secured the harness tightly, making sure Daniel was safe. And finally, Daniel in blue jacket rose into the air. As he reached the helicopter, the rescue team pulled him inside. Weak, exhausted, but finally safe. The helicopter turned back, heading toward the rescue base, where help was waiting. Meanwhile, Emma had already been taken to safety. But even there, she wasn't at peace, because Daniel was still out there. Emma saw him, and in that moment, the fear of losing him finally disappeared. Both of them were suffering from extreme cold exposure and early signs of frostbite. Hours in freezing air had slowed their bodies down, but they were lucky. They were rescued just in time.
Pressure's dropping. Get another line in. Copy. Fluids are running. Check the other patients. We need more hands. Vital stabilizing. Keep the heaters on.
Daniel could barely move, and Emma stayed close, refusing to leave his side. Hours in freezing air had pushed their bodies to the limit. The cold had slowed their blood flow, numbing their hands and feet.
You were very close. Another few hours, and it could have been much worse.
Emma couldn't forget the night, the silence, the fear, the endless waiting. It wasn't just the cold. It was the feeling that no one might come.
Later, an investigation began. It was confirmed. A system warning had been ignored, and the weather made everything worse.
Days later, the mountain returned to normal.
But for those who were there, it would never feel the same again.
They didn't talk much about that night, Ev.
On the outside,
Everything looked normal again.
but inside, the memory of that night never left them.
Emma often woke up at night, remembering spend the silence of the first. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt real. Every single.
Weeks later, the official investigation report was released. It confirmed a warning signal had been ignored, and weather conditions made the situation worse. After the incident, major safety changes were made. The mountains remained the same, silent, beautiful, and powerful.
But some places never leave your mind. Months passed, and life slowly moved forward.
It feels good to be back, Daniel.
It does. The mountains are just as beautiful.
Let's make new memories.
Months later, they returned to the same place.
It feels like yesterday we were here,
A lot has changed since then.
but this place still feels like ours.
It does. But this time, they weren't the same people.
Emma stopped walking.
Emma, you okay?
But this time, they didn't run away.
They chose to face it.
Slowly, they sat down again.
We're really doing this.
Yeah.
We can do it.
And for the first time after that night, they moved upward again. This time, there was fear, but also acceptance.
I was so scared.
I know, but we're here now, because survival doesn't always mean running away.
Daniel kept looking at everything carefully. Emma, look at the safety systems.
They seem to be working perfectly.
It's impressive.
Finally, they reached the top again. But this time there was no fear waiting for them.
Emma in black jacket and Daniel in gray jacket prepared to ski again.
Ready? Let's go.
This time, Emma and Daniel were not afraid anymore.
Emma in her black jacket and Daniel Hinz's jacket finally started skiing down the mountain. This time, there was no fear, only freedom.
Emma moved through the narrow paths between the pine trees.
Daniel followed closely, enjoying every turn.
As the slope opened up, Emma and Daniel gained speed.
This is incredible, Daniel! I know! We're flying!
For the first time, speed didn't feel dangerous, it felt exciting.
Emma, a black jacket, looked back and smiled.
Daniel's jacket laughed for the first time in a long journey.
Surrounded by endless mountains and snow, they kept skiing forward. The same mountains that once scared them now felt beautiful.
We made it.
Yeah, look at that view. And for a moment, everything became silent again.
Stood together. But this silence was no longer fear, it was peace.
What once was fear had now become strength for Emma and Daniel.